They're the twisted twosomes that banded together to commit some of the most atrocious crimes ever. Today, we're counting down some of the most dangerous and deadly duos of all time.
Dubbed the Ken and Barbie Killers because of their stunning good looks, Canadian husband and wife serial killers Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka were responsible for the violent rapes and murders of 3 teen girls in the 1990s, including Karla's 15-year-old sister, Tammy. The depraved couple lured, drugged, and sexually tortured their victims on tape before murdering them. When they were finally captured, the twisted bride struck a controversial plea deal and served a 12-year sentence. She was released in 2005 and is now a remarried mother of 3. Her now ex-husband Bernardo received a life sentence, but is eligible to seek parole this year. In California, 1989, notorious brothers Lyle and Eric Menendez brutally murdered their parents inside their Beverly Hills mansion.
I was just firing as I went into the room. I just started firing.
In what direction?
In front of me.
What was in front of you?
My parents.
They shot their father, Jose, 5 times, their mother, Kitty, 9 times in a mob-style execution. The brothers claimed they were victims of child sexual abuse, but prosecutors argued they killed their parents in hopes of inheriting their $14 million estate. Lyle and Eric were convicted in 1996 and are currently serving life sentences. Recently, after more than 2 decades apart, the Killer brothers have been reunited behind bars. And in Colorado, 1999, Columbine killers Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold massacred 12 students and a teacher in an elaborately planned attack before turning their guns on themselves. It was the deadliest school shooting in the country at that time. Now, almost 20 years later, as the number of school shootings continue to rise, experts speculate the Columbine effect has opened the gate for copycat killers.
And joining us now is legal expert and trial attorney Misty Marris. Misty, thanks for being back with us. Of all the deadly duos, who do you think was the worst and why?
So, Jesse, this is such a hard question, but I have to go with the Columbine killers. And that's not just because of the sheer body count or the fact that you have kids killing kids. It's the effect that it had. It created all of these copycats, the Columbine effect. After Columbine, schools were going crazy trying to figure out how to protect students. In fact, my own high school banned trench coats. That's because they were wearing trench coats in those videos. So the profound impact that Columbine had on the country and on the safety in schools is unbelievable.
And Misty, it would seem obvious, right? 2 people instead of 1, 2 people more dangerous. But what is it about duos that make them so deadly?
So these duos, they goad each other on. Jesse, if you can believe it, they normalize the behavior to each other. They make sure that they're kept to task so they can actually complete this. So there's been studies that say 1/5 of serial killers work in duos. That's because you'll see it's not just one killing, it's multiple killings.
Okay, so you said they goad each other on. In these duos, are they hatching their horde together? Or is there generally one mastermind in the group?
So interestingly enough, forensic psychologists have studied this. They've studied these duos and they found that there's usually one who is the master manipulator. And the dominant person in that situation, they look for somebody that they think can be their co-conspirator. They look for somebody with low self-esteem, somebody with lower intelligence, somebody that needs a friend. It can be that simple.
So if and when these duos get caught, then is the punishment always the same?
So what's so interesting, under the law, if you're part of a conspiracy and say you kill somebody as part of a conspiracy, but you don't pull the trigger, you're equally as guilty. But equally guilty does not necessarily mean equal sentencing. So when it comes down to a punishment, you'll often see these duos turn on each other. One will say, this was the mastermind. It was not me. I was manipulated. I was forced into this. So just because they're equal crimes and they're equally guilty doesn't necessarily equate to an equal sentence.
Well, Misty, as always, thank you so much for being here and shedding your insight into all of this.